it is beautiful in Pittsburgh today, and I thought this would be the perfect time, early afternoon, to hop on and do a couple-minute video real quick for you guys. Um, I had one of my course calls this morning, and it got me thinking about how you can be prepared for ideas, because whenever you have a book that you're working on, and you've got that stuff going on in your mind. I always talk about like assigning a part of my brain to be working on it in the background, or any project that I'm doing. I always talk about it that way, because I will just suddenly have this idea and it's like, oh, I gotta sit down right now and take care of this. That's not always feasible. Like, I'm at home a lot, so I'll just run in my office and pop open the document that I'm working on, just jot down my ideas. But sometimes I actually leave the house, and I'm sure you guys do too. So I wanted to remind you that if you are working on your book, make sure that you have some way of writing down or recording your ideas, especially when you're just driving somewhere, or you're sitting in traffic. Maybe you have a lull when you're at the grocery store, if you're just standing there in line waiting to pay for something, or you're running into Target and you're taking a look at something and you have to wait. Your mind wanders, and this is a great time for the back of your mind to be working on that book, and this is always when the ideas pop out. So make sure that you either have your cell phone, you have a journal, you have a notebook, you have something with you that you can write down the idea, because we know they disappear like that. And I'm not sure if you've read Big Magic, but I can't think of her name. Liz Gilbert. She wrote Big Magic, and she talks about how you have an idea for a certain amount of time, and then it like blows away on the wind and somebody else catches the idea. I'm not saying that that's going to happen to you, but that's what it can feel like happens. I know I've been in situations before where I've been like, out doing something with my kids, and I didn't have access immediately to a notebook or a phone or something, and I've completely forgotten what I thought of that was so brilliant that I had to write down. So make sure you have your phone or a journal. Now, the journal or notebook thing is pretty easy. You gotta have a pen, just jot down your notes. You're fine. If you have a phone with you, though, I know the iPhones have a notes function. You can always pop that open and either type out what you want to say, or you can use the microphone button and just speak it. Sometimes it's a little off, because I've done some like voice texting or voice recording before, for messages, and it's been a little nutty. But usually you can get the gist of what your idea is. And once you record it, always look back and make sure that it actually copied down what you wanted to say, instead of some bizarre off-the-wall thing. And then, of course, most cell phones have email capacity anyway, so if you want to just pop open an email, you can do it that way too, and just send it directly to yourself. The benefit of doing it on your phone, if you're somebody who primarily likes to work in the technology, if you prefer to do typing and work on your computer most of the time, it makes it really easy if you're doing it on your phone the same way, because then you can email the note to yourself, or just type out the email and send it to yourself and copy and paste into your document. And I've done that tons of times before, and it's really, really helpful. Actually, when I was doing the outline for the Spark method, I think I mentioned recently that I was doing that at Disney on Ice, and I just happened to have some time that I went, oh, I've got a really good idea. I know exactly what I want to do. So I pulled out my phone and I just went down through and recorded, as I spoke, and it typed everything out. So that made it really easy. I emailed that note to myself, and then when I was ready to sit down, hey, Shelly. When I was ready to sit down, I just copied and pasted that into my Word document and worked from there. So that was all I wanted to talk about today, was just make sure that you aren't letting those ideas flutter away, because these are some fantastic things to put in your book. Your brain is always working on this stuff in the background. So when something pops up, make sure you write it down. Have a good afternoon.